Hello everyone. If you are a database professional trying to understand how AI system actually work in enterprise environment, then this session is for you. Many DBA worries, am I being replaced? Answer, no. You are becoming more valuable. By end of today, you'll see that. You will see the complete flow of AI app, no black box. You will know what each piece does, like LLM, vector database, Oracle, or RDBMS database. It doesn't disappear. You will realize AI is just architecture, not magic, just a new pattern, and you already understand architecture. So, before understanding and going on this point, let me clear some doubt. So, let me clear some myth first. Let me ask you something. Be honest. How many of you think AI is magic? So, by end of this session, you will understand that AI is not a magic. AI is not the chatbot. AI is not just a model. AI is architecture, and you will understand what LLM really does, what vector data really does, what RDBMS really does, and where you, database professional, fit in this AI architecture. So if you are a DBA, you're a developer, you are in management, or you are a student, this session is completely for you. So the AI is not magic. DBAs are critical, and the data plus context and governance. So AI is not magic. How? I will tell you. So making marketing make it sound magical, but understand under the hood, it's a database, index, data pipeline, it's architecture. And definitely DBAs are critical to the AI. How? You see the pattern. AI engineer build the demo and then try to run on a production and everything break. Why? Vector search is slow, data quality is terrible, cannot scale, no backup strategy, and security is a nightmare. So who fix it? The DBA. So AI system are 80% data infrastructure, and that comes under DBA. Now the third point is data, context, and governance. What do you think? A neat and clean data, a proper data, context. Definitely we need to mix the vector database and the relational database, and database is our domain. Governance, security, auditing, compliance, this is our domain. So if you don't have a data, you cannot run AI. You don't have a context, AI will hallucinate. You don't have governance, that's a security bizarre. And who can manage better than DBA? So study we removed fear, and today we are removing the mystery. Now, tell me frankly how people think the AI works. Simple, am I right? You give query to the chat GPT and chat GPT answer it. Too simple, but it is not the correct. Am I right? Because that is a consumer AI, that is not the enterprise AI. In real companies, you cannot, AI inside the enterprise is not just a single tool, it's layered system. If you don't understand layer, you don't understand AI. Now let's see the real architecture. So this is a very layman and very basic architecture where a user send a request to the front end AI or a chatbot. The chatbot backend send your information to the LLM. LLM again send this information to the vector database, and from the LLM, from by the backend API, the data goes to. I will show you in the my laser format actually. Laser pointer. Okay, so user send the data to the frontier chatbot, then go to the backend. From the backend, it go to the LLM, then LLM it go to the vector database. From the vector database, I was not able to draw here. It will again go to the LLM. That answer from the LLM it go to the backend API and then go to the chat. Now to maintain all this session information in the chat history, we need this database. So this whole is an AI architecture is just a system, not a single tool. So in other words, if you want to understand, I have a bigger created a separate video with all the architecture, and I will show that in a different video, the complete real architecture. So we'll go to the next context, and that is role of each component. So there are two questions I'm leaving here. Why RDBMS and how to manage cache. This will definitely discuss in coming videos. So the next is a role of each component. So you have a UI, it take the input. You have a backend, then orchestration, and then you have LLM, that language generation. It generates the text, predict the next work, but it doesn't store the enterprise data. Now you have a vector DB that store the embedding, perform similar search, and find relative chunks. And then you have Oracle DB or any RDBMS DB for a system of records. Now, next is what LLM does, and that is really, really important. Okay. LLM is not magically know what your data. It need context. Context means I'm a big fan of any celebrity. Here the fan is related to the followers, not related to a ceiling fan or a table fan or a fan of a turbine engine. So the context is important. So who give the vector database, the LLM the context, the vector database. So LLM actually it's the only predict, it's not an intelligent engine, it just predict the next word. It doesn't store any database data. It doesn't know your company data, it only predict the next word. So LLM is a small parrot. It sounds intelligent but has no memory or data. Now bonus point is in a database language, think of LLM is a snapshot of a particular date. I'm also going to create a separate video to understand the LLM in 2-3 minutes in deep database language. Just for a year, I'm explaining that suppose you have a today's February. In January 10th, you took a snapshot of database and created another database on a server B. Now the server B has a database of 10th of January. Now, after 10th of January, this snapshot database doesn't have any new data. If you're saying your application team, just giving an example, the sales team is trying to query the same database present on a server B, the snapshot database. It has all the data belong to the 10th of January up to 10th of January. After 10th of January, there no data is there. So how it will get the new data? So LLM is a module that data has been trained, that module has data has been trained onto a particular date and open to the market. But after that, if the new data comes, a training doesn't happen every day, right? Your bug fix doesn't happen every day. It fix and it release a new database. Your snapshot refresh doesn't happen every day, am I right? You need some time after some certain day to refresh. Similarly, the LLM works. And then to maintain this up to date, the whole architecture we embedded the vector database. We'll discuss as long as we'll go in deeper. We'll explain because here I just want to explain one point. Understanding this theory and the concept is really important because the AI, this architecture is used. You just focus on a vector database, you cannot grow in this AI world. You need to understand all the component conceptually. That's the reason I'm going slowly and explaining bit by bit. So you, my fellow database engineers, can dive in. Okay, so this is the how the LLM works here. Now the question is why vector database exists. The vector database solve one problem: search by meaning instead of keyword. Everyone know you go to the Google and search it. That is called semantic search. Suppose I'm searching, tell me the operation or something where the word matches to fan. So it will give whatever the fan is there. But I'm just saying to the instrument or architecture on a tool or a chat GPT, I'm the big fan or list of the fan of the particular followers. By using the followers, this they will come to know this fan which context I'm talking about. They're not saying they don't have word fan. Am I right? If someone is saying that bank of river, so the river is something a deciding factor for the bank. Otherwise, there is a many bank belong to the financial bank or a West Bank, something, anything. The bank is a many words. So that is the something that similar search really does and it helps. So there are three core functions the database, this vector database do. Definitely that similarity, context, and memory. But vector, what is that? Array of numbers. It do the text embedding with a dimension and billions of numbers. So it's compact storage. So it optimizes the storage with compression and quantization. You convert text into vector, use index to find the vector, return top 10, top 20 searches, and all in a mini. So this section is used for the okay. So you are not going to learn new database, new SQL. You get the enterprise feature, combine the vector database in your traditional database in your enterprise app. You need to plug in this. It is not going to replace your database. It is going to plug in your existing database. And the best architecture often both vector invented because of the AI need search by meaning. I have a separate video for vector database deep. We'll go in deeper. Or this is Why the vector database exists? I gave you the previous example that LLM cutoff date, a module came in the market, you try to do the search and work on that module, but you have a new data, am I right? Or new information came because then that information will not be present in the module. So that can be loaded to the vector database in form of embedding using the same LLM. And this whole, because a single LLM doesn't is the call that it's AI. AI is a, I told it's not a magic, it's a tool or in architecture. So we have a LLM module, we have a vector database, how LLM module communicate to the vector database, how LLM communicate to the chatbot. All this circle is called RAG. That word I'm just introducing here, don't confuse. I told you, slowly, we'll go and understand every word in detail. So you're going to be a super intelligent in terms of clarification and architecture, as well as your concept will be completely clear in terms of database language. Now the question is again, why the RDBMS still matters? If you see my very first video, I explained LLM is a stateless. So if the LLM is in a stateless, means that it is not going to maintain any session. Who will maintain the session record? So every new a new chat question you are asking, the LLM in the backend treat as a new question. But how you will understand the context, like what question I asked previously? Am I right? Where this, suppose today I log into the AI chatbot, I asked 10 questions, all this chat and chat history where it will be stored. What question I asked the chat GPT I should not ask, where all this information will be stored to audit in the future. We need a system of records, right? And where we can store the system of record and truth in RDBMS. So in your current enterprise database, nothing is going to replace, it is going to add. So vector database is not your system of record. It's just load whatever the data and the structured data is there. We'll go in deeper, they'll understand. So simply, as of now, vector database is not a transactional database. It only store the embedding information. Embedding, like whatever the data you load, it get converted into vectors embedding and then it will stored in the form of dimension. That's all. So you need RDBMS because I told you the kids play with a toy, but we DBA run the responsible things, a production ready database. We cannot allow everyone to go and play there. Right. Tomorrow, your company, if you belong to finance or any company, there is auditor to audit your activity, how you will show this activity. So we need the system of record and we need RDBMS. Vector DB work is entirely different than RDBMS. Both have different responsibility you can say assigned. They cannot do the each other work. So the RDBMS still matter. End-to-end workflow is high level or low level. I have a separate video or a separate slide. I will try to show you, but let cut this. Database mapping important. So you have a traditional database app, you have AI app. In traditional, you use the where clause in SQL. In similarity search, we have index, we have a vector index, we have a table, we have a chunks, you have OZZ, we have integration pipeline. So see here, you are not starting from zero, you are upgrading. Okay, you learn embedding, vector, DB basic, API orchestration, LLM limitation, then you are already moved from DBA to AI architect. So this is something that I'm giving an example. Suppose you have HR policy chatbot and you are pinging, hey, how many casual leave do I have? See, you communicated to the chatbot in a natural language, a simple English language. There's no where clause, there's nothing. Because you logged with your AID, it will only check for your ID. It is not going to check that your manager leave. It is not going to check entire company people leave. It is going to check your leave. You have not put your name, but you logged in with your name. So your name is defined somewhere in the application that okay, this guy is asking, check with this guy information only and give it. That is called a system of record to maintain as well as session is getting maintained outside the LLM. And it go to the vector database, it will try to search with similarity. It will first search the casual leave, then it will search with my name, how many it is present, it will give. So there is no SQL, no keyword. just a meaning based. So it is coming like, well, this is example we carry forward and will speak detail when we go deeper in AI architecture sessions. So I am leaving this with this two note. The note is why traditional databases fail for AI and why vector database were invented. The both we will discuss detail in our next video. But obvious, before going, there is a homework for you. So think of one enterprise use case in your organization, either in HR, finance, and support, and ask these three questions. What is the source of truth? What is unstructured? And what need meaning-based search? That's it. So if this session changed how you use AI, hit the like. Or did you think still you're using the chat GPT for your normal hi hello? Then comment below. We'll see you in next video. See you soon. Thank you.